Welcome to Garden Story, a genre-bending game. We have a stamina bar and a sword. This is all getting very Dark Soulsy very quickly, putting me in the role of a courageous grape. I'm just a little baby. What do you want me to do? Join me fighting bosses. Oh no, if he hits us once, we're dead. Please, I'm just a sweet grape. Completing manual labor. Put 2 globs of sap into a forage box. I love it. I'll do it. I'll do it. And saving the lands from swarms of rot. Look at these guys. They're like little grape jelly blobs. It's kind of disgusting because I'm a grape. And they're just like little zombified versions of me. Just my guts all over the ground. This is Garden Story. In our beginning, there was the grove. In-game Mattaghetti. Push the button. Oh, I have to push the button. Timeless, supernatural, and sentient in its foundation of our home and the source of our existence. There's a lot of mana coming out of a tree. Oh. That ended. In short, the tree that had protected everything with mana was now infected with rot, rendering it slimy and almost useless as slimy things often are. But Guardians stepped up to try and save the land, though over time they were lost until only 2 were left. Now fate focuses on me, young Concord of the kindergarten. It was a time of Guardians, and all of them are dead but one. It turns out I was far more of a morning person in Garden Story than I am in real life. Okay, there's a dash. We love a dash. That means we can go places and see things. Going places started with me showing off how well I can read. Kindergarten vine. Grabbing a jar from a nearby cabinet. Got a jar. And then filling that jar with dew from a nearby well before splashing it onto the kindergarten vine. This did little to help the vine grow. The vine will still not grow even though it's been dewed. Instead of waiting on that to grow, I headed off down the path where I bumped into Plum, another guardian. My name is Concord. I've been working hard. Plum told me I had been working hard, though nothing around here functioned like it used to since we lost a Leo. We lost a Leo. We would meet a Leo later. For now, it was time to move on. He said there's a pick-me-up that the granny just completed. And so I was soon on my way to get the pick-me-up from Granny, but first I was given a map. Whoa. Okay, chart the grove locations with the map. Open the map. Ah, interesting. On my way to find Granny, I bumped into Raina, a frog who always had far too much to say during my playthrough, though I was pretty quick to pick up on this. Okay, this frog just had some kind words, but none of them seem to matter because I have to find the hamlet. And with frequent checks of my map, I was able to navigate my way down to the hamlet that truly was not that hard to find. Oh, we're in the hamlet now. Fascinating. After discovering the hamlet by wandering into it, I spoke with Plum and Tumshi until the ground began to shake. There's something happening in the pits of the library. The rot is in the pits of the library. Oh, there's a Granny Smith. Oh, it's an apple. She's an apple. That makes sense. So the rattling in the library made my controller shake, but it would simply have to wait, as Granny Smith wanted to give me a small pick, a toothpick I could use for combat as well as gathering. Knowing I was now capable of fighting and gathering, I was ready to head out and take on the world. So we have a sword, maybe? We have a stamina bar and a sword. This is all getting very Dark Soulsy very quickly. It's true, and now that I finally understood the difficulty of the game before me, I spoke with Plum, who told me it was time to go nighty-night back at the kindergarten, but to keep my sword handy just in case. I'm supposed to keep my sword ready in case I run into something, and I have a suspicion I'm gonna run into something, because that seems pretty much inevitable. Oh, look at that. That there is rot. Get used to it, we're gonna see a whole lot of it during this playthrough, though it never does live too terribly long as I demonstrated here. Ah, you can hit them both at the same time. Oh, that rot spilled out more. Oh, it's got a cloud of some kind. It's disgusting but true. In Garden Story, when you squash rot, it often turns into smaller rot. Though, as duty demanded, I continued to squash until I was victorious. After which, my brain finally came back from its vacation and I figured out what the pick was. Pick. That's a pick. It's like a toothpick. Yes, obviously, it's a toothpick. It's not a pickaxe and it's not a guitar pick. Next, I learned how to heal. Okay, so I can use dew to heal, which it's still kind of giving Dark Souls. It's still kind of giving Dark Souls. A weapon, a stamina bar, a dodge roll, and a rechargeable healing flask. This is Garden Souls. Along with that, enemies dropped loot. Picking up branches and twigs. They haven't explained anything about anything as far as crafting and stuff goes. And so, being a small grape left to his own devices, I began to hit things. They're showing ones. Ah, broke into a twig and a sap. All right, we're in business now. That business would have to wait, as instead of being introduced to the market, I was introduced to my feelings. This Concord feels validated by Plum. It's telling me my feelings. I love it. Yes, truly, what could be more helpful than being told my feelings? Perhaps a pop quiz, like what happened here. With what little I know about the Guardians, how do you feel about them? Well, I'd like to be one. In this grape economy, jobs are hard to find, so naturally, if somebody asks if I could be interested in one, the answer is absolutely yes. After contemplating my employment, it was finally time to go night-night. It says the objective is to go to bed, which is always my objective. Bed is laying on a leaf. Beautiful. After waking up the next morning, it was time to continue my journey by going on a small yet complicated walk. Oh, it says walk to the bend. Okay. Is this is the bend? That's the riverway. That's the hamlet. Where's the bend? Maybe if you tried reading. Oh, it says head southwest. That's very helpful because I know which way south is. It's always down. And west, well, west is this way. And so, figuring out navigation, I arrived at my destination. Explore your new home. This is my new home? Awesome. Oh, there's people here. Gross. Apologies, sometimes the introvertedness pops through when I least expect it. After taking everything in, I chatted with the frog and found my new home. Okay, she wants to talk. The frog woman wants to talk. And I'm supposed to be exploring my new home. Oh, is this my home? This is my house? I live here? I go here? Unfortunately, I wasn't the only one in my house, as the frog woman had come inside as well, though she did offer me this bit of information about my furniture. Oh, it's called a pillow leaf. How beautiful. How wonderful. It's true, I was enjoying the pillow leaf. Likewise, if you're enjoying this video so far, it would be great if you could subscribe, drop a like, and comment that your heart was warmed by this cute in-game fashion I found next. Ah, we have a hat system. All right, and a bag? Very fancy. We've got a hat and a bag. What a great day. And so I had gained a house, a bag, and a hat all in one day. That was a great day by any metric. Next, I chatted with the elderberry. The elderberry wants to talk. During our chat, the elderberry told me that tomorrow he would take me around the city to explore, but for now, it was bedtime. Alright, I guess that's the end of the day. But that was an exhausting day. Moving is a lot. So I'm just gonna head on home. Oh, game saves. What a good house. Game saves are undeniably exciting. However, laying on the pillow leaf also let me check my stats. There are so many more stats than I expected to see. Okay. Check on the village stats, though I had done nothing to change those at this point. Village stats. There are multiple villages. Alright. And get a good night's rest before waking up to this. It says I have 3 requests today. Yes, in Garden Story, waking up means getting started on the day's tasks, except for today, I still wanted to explore my house a bit more. Oh, there's some sort of workstation thing that's showing up here. I can build something, maybe? With my house explored, I headed outside where I hit my monthly quota for saying the word duty. Okay, so there are duties on a board here, and these duties will help the village. It says conflict, maintenance, and forage. Okay, they've got stars. I assume that's difficulty, but it doesn't really say. Let's start with forage. Wait, how do I pick it? You don't pick duties. Duties pick you. When a day starts, you get 1 to 3 duties that sit on the board, waiting for you to tend to them before the day ends. After taking my time to figure that out, I headed off. Alright, we're on our way. But my determination to get my day started was soon knocked off course, as I was supposed to follow the frog woman. Oh, we're supposed to follow the frog woman. We cannot go our own direction. Whoops. Helping my froggy friend saw me solving a simple switch puzzle in order to open a bridge. There we go. Turn all the switches on, and the bridge is good. After which, the frog headed off to the city, leaving me and the rots behind. Okay, are we not supposed to take out these little slime boys? My inclination is that we're supposed to take them out, but I guess if you're heading on, I'll head on as well. I am but a humble grape in the frog service. A grape who was a bit indifferent on combat and did not do so well at keeping up with the frog. Alright, slow down there. You got good legs. I'm just a grape. When I did catch up to the frog, she told me that glass was washing up on the beach and that it would be helpful to add this to the town's storage. So of course, this meant I should head down to the beach and hit everything that looked like glass. This looks like glass. Look at that. And so I took my new glass and placed it in a storage box, but quickly learned a storage box and a forage box are different. Oh, it doesn't go in the storage, it goes in the forage box. Okay. And so there was a storage box, a forage box, and this third box that was my favorite. But then there's this box next to the storage box that I can just smack. After the box business, my froggy friend headed off to deal with a commotion in a nearby area. Naturally, I followed. Upon reaching the next area, I met Maraschino, an unhappy little cherry who seemed a bit pessimistic about everything. And then in the next area, because I love resources, I decided I would smash all of the jars I was finding along the way. This jar with the purple in it has rot. There it is. But this was interrupted by my frog friend who just kept talking. Wait, the rot's still alive. And talking and talking. This frog is talking to a fruit and it's taking a year. At the end of that chat, I was asked to kill the nearby rot, which I was only too happy to do. Of course, this was followed by Reyna, the frog, asking me to follow her yet again. You ever wanted to follow a frog as they walk around the swamp, telling you about rot and introducing you to fruits? Thankfully, this conversation ended better than it began, as Reyna had brought a present. Okay, they got us a shield. Shield acquired, I was ready to head off and join the ranks of legendary warriors like Alexander the Grape and Grape Khan. Now we can hit and block. I don't know what this little green thing is. The second one we've seen. That was for later. For now, I accidentally started completing objectives just because I was so excited to enter into combat with my new shield. Oh, that was the mission. The mission was to take out those roots. After finishing my violent stint and calming back down, Reyna asked that I check in with Plum before heading home. I just checked in with Plum. The frog asked me to check in with Plum again, and I just checked in with Plum. What? I'm just a baby. I'm just a little baby. What do you want me to do? I don't know how to get home. As you could see on the screen, Plum was right next to me. Oh, Plum is back. Never mind. I'll talk to Plum. After chatting with Plum, he too suggested that I head back home and climb into bed, so I did so right away, but was surprised to find that somehow Plum had navigated back to my house faster than I could. Oh, Plum is here. Hello, Plum. How did you get here so fast? You're so chubby. There is no excuse for what I said there. Everyone knows chubby plums move the slowest. It's probably different in humans. Probably. Getting back to business, Plum went on to tell me that he was about to leave the spring area and move on to help at other places, leaving me the guardian of this zone. So Plum is leaving to go help the rest of the grove, and we will be here. Uh-oh. He's declaring me the official guardian of Spring Hamlet. Well, I've not even passed the tutorial. I don't even know how to go to the bathroom. I've never done anything here. Never fed myself. I drank water once. Undeniably, I was going to be an inexperienced guardian. However, this decision was not one Plum or I got to make. Well, he says every guardian is chosen by the grove itself, so I guess it's really not a decision he and I get to make. See, that's exactly what I was saying. Following that chat, I was given a journal that came with a brief explanation. All right, we collect memories to use as perks. I mean, it's interesting enough. That's a fun little system. It sounds like it could be fun. Taking my new journal, I headed into bed where I got familiar with the journal system. In short, doing different things in the game, whether defeating certain enemies or sitting on specific benches, would make me feel connected to different guardians, resulting in buffs to specific gameplay mechanics, such as more stamina or better specific stats. As I too was now a guardian, this all meant I could also remember me. I could just remember myself. My own personal growth, and that's enough for me. That's enough for me to draw strength from. After picking my memories and setting my journal up, I went to sleep and was greeted by a screen showing me that my city was leveling up based on the duties I had completed. But before I could get up and get started on the following day, the tree met me in a dream. And so a new one joins us in the greater plane of events. Welcome, young sprout. Within you, I see many things. Unfortunately, I wasn't quite ready for all of that responsibility. Said I could be the champion they seek, but right now I'm just a small grape. A Concord grape. And so I headed outside to get to work, stopping briefly to speak with Reyna, who told me that completing tasks for villagers would often result in me getting paid money the following day. When Reyna finally got done yapping, I checked the board to see what I was going to get up to that day and then headed off to get started, with only one small hiccup. I don't know what that sound is. Something's going ting, ting, ting. Somebody mining? Something low? Is it mail? Oh, it is mail. Yay, mail. How do I get the mail? Oh, you punch the mailbox. That's funny. I like that. The mailbox is where citizens put the money they paid me for completing tasks. After I gathered those coins, I took some time to look over my duties for the day, where I realized that there are maintenance, forage, and conflict duties. These related to different activities and would level up my village in the respective category once completed. Whack 7 slimes, another bridge, enter through the docks and reactivate the right nodes, and then put 2 globs of sap in a forage box. Do we have sap? Do I have sap already? I tried to check if I had sap, but failing to remember which button opened my inventory, I decided I would continue along the path, and so I did so, falling into a conversation which eventually yielded this. Okay, we have a favor. I've never had a favor. He talked about splitting a big slime. So if we find the big slime, we can split them down the middle. And so I had my first favor. Unlike the daily duties that came and went with each passing day, favors were mini-quests assigned by villagers that were unable to be failed, staying active until completed. After accepting that favor, I continued to fiddle around with my buttons until I figured out how to get to the inventory and found that I had already gathered some sap. Oh, it's different tabs in the inventory. I was on the wrong tab. Okay. Resources. Sap. Sap. So we have to deposit the sap into a resource. After showing off my god-tier gaming skills, I headed south, where I found my neighbors and treated them the way neighbors get treated. Oh, that guy's gross looking. Look at that guy. Simply because they were gross looking, they deserved to die. So I beat every single bit of rot with my stick and moved on. On slime police duty. I got a pebble. What are these? They're shiny. More pebbles. Oh, we're full on resources. Completely full of resources, but fresh out of rots to whack, I continued hitting anything in the area that looked different. This is we need a stronger tool to hit this yellow ball. With that area secured, I headed to the city to continue looking for a deposit container for my sap, rolling as I went, as this is Garden Souls. I could have sworn there was a deposit box around here somewhere. Unable to immediately find a deposit box, I instead checked the duty board and headed off to complete another duty, only to have this happen. And I think maybe there's a deposit box. I don't see one here, but if we can find one in the south, we can just drop our... Oh, there's one. We can drop our sap in there. And so I stopped, dropped my sap into the box. Yay! And then headed off to continue my duties. While on my way to do those duties, I stopped in a store to do some quick shopping. This is a general store. For a seed pouch, grassy nut that grows into valuable items. Okay. Unfortunately, as I didn't have a seed pouch yet, I was unable to capitalize on the grassy nut. Instead, it was back to my duties. Oh, there's somebody. They need help. I'm here to help you. This was not somebody I was going to help in the course of my duties. This was Maraschino again. He was cranky and he wanted some lenses to fix his glasses. So instead, I got another favor that I was unable to complete and I had to move along. We have a favor accepted and we can just turn this one right in, right? Wrong. As I was saying, Maraschino needed glass lenses, which were a rare drop from breaking glass jars, and although I had broken a number of jars, I did not have 2 lenses yet, so I moved along. Thankfully, it didn't take me too long to recognize the duty I was supposed to be solving. What is this doing? There's 2 up there that are on. Now there's different 2. I'd like to be able to see a bit more, maybe. There we go. Easy peasy. We opened a bridge. Duty completed, I headed off and found another strange orb, which I tried slapping, but was told I needed a different damage type. So this keeps saying different damage type. I guess we can do different damage types. Mine is stick, and there's also red. We need a red damage. And so I would have to search for red damage. But up until now, it hadn't occurred to me that the day would get on with or without me. Is it afternoon? Yes, it's afternoon. Is the day getting away from me? It is. It's evening. Oh no. There's a lot to do. There was a lot to do, but thanks to my penchant for violence, I was able to work through it quickly and with a smile on my face until this happened. Oh, that's a quest for the slimes. With the duties done, I fumbled through my menus until I found the favors that needed attention. These are the favors. Just deliver 2 lens, defeat a glomp at night. Okay, so we have to find a glomp. So naturally, you know, when you see a glomp, point at the screen and yell. We'll take them out. We have to wait for nighttime, I guess. While I waited for nighttime, I returned to my violent ways until I realized they were a bit pointless. We don't have to defeat these guys at all. These aren't glomps, right? I don't think these are glomps. They don't look like a glomp. They look like puddles. That's what I'd call them, puddles. After stomping out those puddles, I headed off to another duty board to double check that everything was done for the day. Okay, so we've done all the ones for today. With all of my duties done, all that was left was to sit on a bench and wait for night to arrive. I think time is on its own system here. Oh wait, but if we sit on this bench, time passes fast. So now if we leave and come back, it's going to switch to nighttime? That is correct. In Garden Story, time is always running. However, leaving one area and entering another is the way to progress from one phase of the day to the next. And we're looking for a glomp. He doesn't look like a glomp. That looks like a glomp. I would say that's a glomp. As everyone knows, that is a glomp, and therefore it must die. He's not really doing a lot, though. Oh, that's something. As you probably know from kindergarten, a glomp's primary attack is to charge up and then rush the player. However, this glomp was a bit stuck, making for an easy kill. And although the game didn't give any notifications that what I had killed was a glomp, I made my way back to Silly, who confirmed that it was. Oh wait, we did it. We did get the glomp. It just didn't tell us we did it. Naturally, Silly compensated me for my hard work and murderous habits. We did it. We got a pocket watch and keep track of the time with the pocket watch. Even though the watch put time of day permanently on my HUD, I knew what time it was. It's bedtime. That's what time it is. I know bedtime when I see it. And so I slept, watched my city level up slightly due to me doing my duties, and then woke up motivated to store things in a box. I think we should store stuff in here, right? Oh, you can just store wood? Okay. And Concord is beginning to understand the value of contribution? What? Oh, I'm putting it into the city? Into the village? So it took me some time to understand this, but that isn't exactly what's happening here. Wood and stone are resources used for crafting, so they're banked in the box here, but everything else is just being stored, not contributed to the village in any way. However, I did contribute to the village by going out and signing up to do more duties. With my duties in order, I collected my money and was soon on my way. The money from the previous day's work. We're very rich. We just don't have anywhere to spend it. Focusing on my duties instead of money, I collected a box from the beach and moved it up closer to my house. How do I put it down? Oh, we did it. Surprise supplies. That's what that's called. 1 sap and we could fix this, huh? Well, I don't have 1 sap. I have twigs. Unfortunately, I read the duty board and learned that getting that sap was one of my duties. Oh, the wells broke. The thing that we just looked at is what we're supposed to do. Whoopsie daisy. After applying the correct amount of daisy to that whoopsie, I stopped at a nearby stump and collected some sap. Ah, there's sap there. Great, that'll sort out this issue. With that issue resolved, my next duty was to clear a roadway of little rot boys. This is starting to feel like it might just be 10 hours of menial labor. Holy cow. In gentle combat, there's a lot of slimy boys. After finishing my duty by helping the rot achieve a perfect piñata impression, I made a quick deposit at a resource box and then decided to turn in as the day was complete. I'm gonna go to bed. I think we did everything. And so I went to bed where I looked through my memories and picked one that increased my HP, stamina, and stamina regen. Soon I dozed to sleep, causing my village to level up in various ways based on all of my completed duties. And even though I wasn't sure what the levels did, I was happy to get paid for my work. I like that I get paid though. Wow. Pretty handsomely today. And so there I was, ready to do another day's worth of duties, only to be stopped when I noticed this person in the village. Hello little buddy. Elderberry. This was Elderberry, an older guardian who wanted to talk with me inside of the Rattly library. This is the library that rattles. Every time I talk to the other person, they talk about horrible things happening in here. Elderberry and I got to chatting right away, but the shaking library continued its shaking. Okay, the library keeps shaking. I don't know what's going on, but it seems horrifying. In short, Elderberry didn't know what was going on either. What he asked was for me to help gather a number of ingredients in order to investigate the library further. Heading outside after our chat, I immediately began looking for those ingredients, the first of which being in a nearby tavern. At the tavern, I was told I needed to gather sap, so I headed to a nearby area and broke stumps until things got sappy. Okay, that should be all the sap for the one mission. In the next area, I was supposed to turn on a power node for the library, though I didn't know exactly what that meant. This? Just hit it. Oh, okay, that's from the library quest. Okay, fine. Next, I headed to the beach where I grabbed some glass, combined it with glass I had placed in a storage box, and then put all of that together in a deposit box to be shipped off. Community chest for the win. After that, I returned to the tavern and handed over the sap, and then went shopping where I got this snazzy tool. This is a wooden hammer. It's another tool. It takes, I don't know, it's 50 coins. Why not, you know? With my new hammer by my side, I headed to the crossroads where my daily duties saw me smashing rot-infected roots until... Okay, and those are all the twigs. Twigging out, the quest is done. Twigging out was my last daily quest, meaning I was now free to do whatever I wanted, which meant returning to the tavern to upgrade my jar, checking my map to figure out where the last piece of the library quest was, and then heading to the switch to smack it and move on. And the second one. Okay, good. Library turned on. We have to go talk to the Elderberry. Heading back to the library to speak with the Elderberry, I paused briefly to identify this uncomfortable tree. Oh, this tree is alive. Look at that. That's weird. He's got eyeballs in there. That is uncomfy. After that, I found Elderberry, whose voice sounded a bit off. By golly, you've done it, Concord. Yes, I've done it. He says give it some rest. Buddy, it's midnight. There's nothing else to do but give it some rest. And so I headed home to climb into bed, feeling good about all the hard work I had gotten done that day. We're jamming, baby. We're jamming. After watching my village level up in my sleep, I decided my goal for the next day was going to be to buy an upgrade for my hammer. Today's goal is to get more sap for upgrades. Also, bang the mailbox open. Ooh, $10. Oh wait, that's inside. Money. This day only had 2 duties, so after collecting the compensation for the previous day, I repaired a well with a little bit of sap and then moved off to complete the other duty, stopping only occasionally to collect more sap. More sap, good. More sap, good. That display of intelligence was followed by this realization. Look at these guys, they're like little grape jelly blobs. It's kind of disgusting, because I'm a grape, and they're just like little zombified versions of me. Just my guts all over the ground. After that dissertation, I finished off the last of the rot, which meant my day's duties were done. After that, my travels took me through the village square, where I was easily sold on an upgrade to my pick. Good. Pick upgraded to +1. Base attack damage and base speed is increased. Good. 5 sap for the hammer. And then this one takes another level, but we're good now. If we leave and come back, do you restock? No? Before leaving the village, I stopped to sit on this bench for a long time in order to unlock a memory. Ah, there it is. I then continued the main quest by swinging through the library where I was told that I would need to generate books in order to help the villagers. We have to generate books to help the villagers? Yes, that's what I was saying. Generate books. I don't know what generating a book means. How do I generate a book? Great question. Books are generated by the page bark, the large tree in the middle of the room. In order to do so, all I would have to do was gather different items I found and give them to the page bark. And so, because I'm generous and because I love completing lists, I headed over to the page bark where I started to give up some items and generate some books. Note here that I gave up one of the 2 lenses I needed to complete Maraschino's quest, which meant it was going to take even longer. Once I was done contributing and chatting, I was told Elderberry wanted to meet outside, so I headed outside to chat with the old Berry. That conversation with Elderberry ended with him asking me to meet him back inside of the library to help with a dangerous situation, so I headed back inside. Inside, Elderberry explained that I needed to leave Springtown and head to the nearby Summertown to find an architect, but the path there was broken. Here's in-game me to help explain. Okay, so there's a door over here that's been sealed away. If we go down and get some spores, we can open up a path that will get us to the summer location. So in we go. Heading into the bowels of the library, I stopped to read every sign and gather every bit of helpful information. Okay, don't linger in poison, that's what that said. Along with these fascinating reads, the library's basement also provided some puzzles. Oh, that was a switch. This is a door or something? Can I bang on it? Hello? Knock knock. What if I charge up? Nothing. Yes, I was a new hammer user, so checking to see if I could bang on what looked like a door just makes sense. After that, I headed on, moving down through the depths of the library. And after solving a handful of room puzzles, I found this notably weird-looking room. This is a weird-looking room, isn't it? Oh my gosh. This was the bookworm, the cause of the shaking beneath the library, and likely the culprit behind many missing library books, though I couldn't prove the second one just yet. And so, because magical spores are often behind big worms, we began to tussle. Just shooting those little balls. Ooh, some good damage. Although I did decent damage, I realized that I don't have any jar uses left. Having no jar uses was a significant problem, as it meant I would have to perform perfectly while fighting this unknown worm. Oh no, if he hits us once, we're dead. Please, I'm just a sweet grape. Although I did a number on the boss's health, some of his later moves saw him laying poison traps on the floor, and I simply was not ready for that change-up. Ooh, that was poison on the ground. It was mines. Concord, no. The day ends here? Oh, that was brutal. Death ended the day immediately, meaning that all of the completed duties were done, but anything incomplete was deemed a failure. Thankfully, I always did my duties first thing, meaning all I lost was time and a bit of cash. Ultimately, even though this cost was low, I woke up with a fiery vengeance in my soul. My little Concord is not happy. He's a very unhappy fellow right now. He looks happy, but he's ready to go kill something. Specifically a worm. So I quickly got to work. Knocking out the day's duties, I repaired fences, stopped briefly to upgrade my hammer, and then cleared a path of rot before returning to my nemesis, the worm. Alright, let's go punish a worm. Getting to that fight meant solving the library's puzzles all over again, but this was no problem for a wicked smart grape like me, determined to kill a worm. Alright, here's our worm. And so we danced again, the worm up to his usual antics, and me trying to dodge more attacks and punish more whenever possible, making special notes of the poison mines. That one right there is one. That one right there. Surprisingly, dodging big attacks from the boss and landing consistent blows of my own was in fact the method for defeating the worm. Oh, we did it! No, we didn't! No, no, no! Wait, maybe? We did do it. Ooh! The doors. Yeah, for a moment I was expecting a second phase to the boss, which thankfully was not the case. Instead, I moved into the room behind the boss, grabbed the spores and an upgrade to my stats, and then headed out. Once surface side, I returned to Elderberry, where I happily handed over the spores, made some quick donations to the paperbark tree, swung by the beach to continue my hopeless search for Maraschino's glasses lens, and then headed home where I snuggled in and discovered I was able to add additional memories, meaning additional perks. Resources have a chance of being a higher tier seems good. I'm just gonna go with that, so we're constantly picking up better stuff. As I drifted to sleep, the tree spoke to me, encouraging me to continue helping those around me. This translated to waking up, raring to go. Put 2 globs of sap into a forage box. I love it. I'll do it. I'll do it. So I kicked off my daily duties, stopping briefly to apologize to Maraschino for leaving him blind on a beach, and then stopping again to chat with Elderberry, who asked me to head to the next area, Summertown, when I was ready. So I made quick work of my remaining duties and was soon ready to head off to begin work in the Summertown. Okay, we're arriving in the new summer area, and we're doing it relatively late in the day. At this point, I didn't know if entering a new area meant I would be assigned another day's worth of duties. Thankfully, it did not. Instead, I got to spend time speaking with Fuji, an architect who was constantly behind on his work as the rot kept destroying things he built. In order to help Fuji, I cleaned out the lighthouse that would function as my new home in Summertown, got a good night's rest, and discovered something very disappointing. The new area does not come with a new hat. This game is a scam. Of course, once I got outside, it was a quick chat with Fuji before jumping back into daily duties, this time for the summer folk. Along the way, I stopped in the town square where I learned this. So somebody else thinks I'm exactly what they need for their problems. Much like the first village, I'm here to solve everything. In that chat, I learned that the summer folk thought I needed a dowsing rod, basically a fishing rod, so I was off to get that, picking up another favor along the way. As I went to collect the rod, I discovered that some rot in the area had taken shelter under shells that only the rod could remove. Oh, you can't break the shelled oozes without a rod. Okay, well, who here has the rod? Because I have a lot of oozes. Is it oozes? Ease? Per usual, reading was the key to figuring out what I needed to know. Turns out if I had read the map, I would know the rod was still to the north. After a quick chat with a frog in the area, I was given my rod in order to help pull some levers under the water. Naturally, I went about pulling those levers without getting distracted or sidetracked. Ooh, succulents. And after pulling all of the levers and getting the dam to open back up, I checked in with the frog. Oh, he's happy. Happy. Froggy. With the task done, the frog let me keep my rod, which I used both in the ocean to remove items and on rot to remove shells, leaving them vulnerable. There we go. And then we switch to the sword and punish. Beautiful. With the rod in my possession, I next discovered that finding Guardian's tombs would unlock that Guardian's memories for use, provided I found those memories separately. We've discovered Blue's grave. Very sad. I miss Blue already. We didn't have enough time together, Blue and I. No time at all. While I grieved the loss of Blue, the Guardian I never knew, I continued to pull items from the ocean, as pulling so many was part of the main quest. The other main quest objective was to deposit 5 different items into a storage unit, so I stopped by my house, dropped everything I had, completed that, and carried on. That did it. Then it was back down to the ocean to pluck the remaining items needed for that main quest. There we go. We got a rock. That's our 10th item from the ocean. Very impressive. After which, I swung through the village where my daily duties had me repairing fences with sandstone. Yes, you want to chat. I know. But I have to find more sandstone. You understand, I'm sure. You understand, I'm sure. Very funny. Since I couldn't find sandstone nearby, I decided to chat with Fuji and the cactus, who let me know that Fuji's workshop was once again operational. Instead of running off to the workshop, I handed in some succulents for a daily duty and then worked late to get the necessary sandstone I needed to complete the repairs to the town's fences. We did it. Excellent. Bedtime. With all of that work done, it was time to settle in for the night, where I got to watch Summertown come together thanks to all of the hard work. On the following day, I headed down to the beach and met with Fuji as early as possible, determined to get him started on fixing things around town. Hello. You gonna fix some stuff? Fuji was ready to work, his only requirement being that Summertown was in better shape before he would get started. This of course meaning that I would have to complete more maintenance type daily duties to get everything improved. Thankfully, some of these were pretty obvious. Oh, there's the tentacles. Those aren't very subtle at all. And so I got to work, clearing the tentacles and completing the first daily duty, followed by pulling another set of levers to open up a dam that simply wanted to close. After which I accepted a favor I never would complete, and then turned in a small handful of succulents in order to complete a favor I had accepted earlier. And as a reward, the NPC said they would open a forge. You can have a forge set up, which is great. I don't know what that means exactly, but more resources the better. Forges, open them. Travel agents, open them. Hotels, open them. You want a blacksmith? Open it. A stable? Open it. All of it. Open everything. It is undeniable. Opening new places like shops, stores, or stalls would be good for Summertown. Speaking of new places, I stopped by the library where I accepted the favor to retrieve a tool for the librarian. Exploring the library further, I found that similar to Springtown, Summertown had a library with her paperbark tree that wanted items in order to grow more books. Naturally, I contributed what I had. Leaving the library, I discovered that the rod could break some of the more difficult rocks. Why can the rod break the rocks? That doesn't make any sense. That is ridiculous. And then decided the best thing I could do was sleep, as I needed the maintenance level around the city to climb based on my duty completion. Next, I don't know why, but when I woke up the next day, I was in a great mood. It's morning! And then it was off to doing daily work, clearing gutters to make sure my maintenance level continued to rise, and dropping yellow shells in one of the forge boxes to complete the second of my 2 tasks for the day. Yeah, we're done. See, we're done. Next, with nothing else to do, I decided to stop in at the newly opened forge. Oh, this guy opened his forge. We can check this out. What kind of stuff you have going on here? Oh, improve the rod's contraptions. Well, I do love improving contraptions, so I'm gonna go find some shells. Actually, do you buy glass by any chance? He did not buy glass, meaning my ever-growing stack continued to grow ever larger. With the daily duties done and the main quest waiting on the town's maintenance level to rise, I spent some time fishing before moving on and speaking with Seth. Seth wanted me to deshell a number of rot, which I was only too happy to help with. So I got right to work, plucking shells off of gooey boys before returning to Seth, where I was rewarded with the most obvious reward for this type of work: an umbrella. All right, he added a small umbrella looking thing. I don't know. What is that? What did we just get? Oh, there it is. This umbrella was to be taken back to Skimmer at the museum, as this was the tool he was looking for. Unfortunately, I totally forgot who Skimmer was, so instead I wandered around handing the umbrella to anyone who looked like they could possibly be Skimmer. Are you Skimmer? You look like you could be Skimmer. You're uni. On my way to find Skimmer, I stopped back by one of the shops where I picked up an upgrade to my fishing rod. I know you are not Skimmer, you're just a guy who runs a shop. Oh, you have the shells though. That's right, we were doing this. Alright. Very nice. You got new stock? No? How about now? No? With my shopping spree completed and my fishing rod upgraded, I kept looking for Skimmer. Has anybody seen Skimmer? Your name is Khaki, the cactus. Classic. Your name is Luna. Where's Skimmer? Oh wait, the museum's open. You're not Skimmer, are you? Were you Skimmer? I knew you were Skimmer. Even though I had finally found Skimmer, I was unable to give them the tool, as after giving it some thought, Skimmer thought it would be better if I held on to it, meaning I now had an umbrella in my inventory. Is that a weapon? Not only was this a weapon, it would arguably go on to be my most used weapon. I knew this pretty early on, as after receiving the umbrella, I took it out to try gathering resources and fighting enemies. Can I poke the sand? I can poke the sand. Oh, it breaks faster. Much better than the rod. Oh, pokes a lot faster too. Just generally good. With little else to get up to due to Fuji not wanting to open the workshop, I wandered around a bit before deciding it would be best just to head to bed. I'm just gonna call it. It's too spooky out here. And so I headed back to my house, laid down for the night, and then gave some thoughts on the memories I had found throughout the day and throughout my playthrough overall. I don't want any of these memories to be something that's negative. Yes, some of the memories came with negative stats, and while stats didn't seem directly important, I decided just to stick with memories that were overall positive. Then I drifted to sleep and finally leveled up Summertown's maintenance. We're level 2! That's big. Now we can maybe make some real improvements around here. We can put this thing back together. Kicking off the next day, I headed to meet Fuji, stopping briefly at a glass jar where I finally got lucky with the lens. That is the second lens. If we can ever get back to the other area, we will be good. After that quick stop off, I finally arrived at Fuji where I got some good news. Hey, he got the workshop up and running. Look at that. Big day today. Fuji gave me a toolbox, which would allow me to enter build mode at different places throughout the map. This was followed by Fuji giving me full access to his workshop, where I could make different things to place, such as benches that I could put where I liked, and repair kits that would cause something damaged to get repaired over some time. All of these different recipes were funded by the various twigs and pebbles that I had been placing in the village storage over the course of my playthrough. With that knowledge, I whipped up a repair kit and headed off straight to the bridge that had been tagged as needing repair since I had arrived in Summertown. However, there was one more wrinkle to getting the work done. Okay, so we have to fill the repair box with what it needs in order to be completed following day, and that one happens to need succulents. That is correct. A repair box indicated a spot that needed to be repaired, but it would only be repaired after the necessary supplies were added to that spot, and in this case I had everything. That one's ready to go, so they'll fix the bridge tonight. Good news. With the bridge queued up to be completed on the following day, I was back to working on my daily duties. Oh, here we go. There's the shells. Now go ahead and check out this happy accident I made while trying to finish out my other tasks. Oh, we broke open the yellow thing. What does that do? 1 max stamina. Oh, that's a lot of stabbing. That's good. That's good for stab potential. This was simply undeniable. My new umbrella and more stamina meant my stab potential was now completely off the charts. And with that increase to stamina came my thoughts on the other orbs I had seen around. You know, I bet that yellow orb was stamina. I know it was stamina, but I bet the red ones I'm finding are probably like max health increases or something. Let it be known that I am a true gamer, engaging body, mind, and soul when solving a video game as complex as Garden Souls. Instead of basking in my own excellence, I remained humble, stopping at a shop where I picked up a second jar for my collection. I guess we can take a pocket file. These different jars would allow me to heal at different speeds, as well as holding different types and different amounts of dew. Then, upon returning home, I discovered that I could put a repair station in my own house, though, as you can see, I was unable to pay for the repairs. Oh my gosh, what is it we need? I don't know what that is. Driftwood. Oh, that's from Autumn Town, I think. No, that was a different wood. What is driftwood? Yeah, so at this point, villagers had mentioned that different resources could come from different towns, and as each town seemed to have its own wood, it was all starting to overlap a bit in my brain. Instead of focusing on that, I swung back through the library to try to make some donations, but didn't have anything to donate, so instead I went fishing, unlocked a memory, and then went off to fight some rot until this happened. Oh no, I died! No! I was such a gentle little grape. Negative 15 leaflets. My leaflets are my business. Don't do this to me. This is why we do this at nighttime, so we still win, even when we lose. Yes, getting a good night's rest, even when it's thrust upon you and completely unexpected, is ultimately a win. Kicking off the next day, I got right to work tackling my daily duties. Oh, is that the dam trouble? Nice. Dam is open. Then I swung by the bridge I had queued up to be worked on the previous day, crossed it, and chatted with a frog who warned me against venturing down into a rotted tree near the beach. Naturally, this made that the most interesting thing on my to-do list. Okay, so we have to go find out what happened to Woody, somebody who was bumping around in this area. Woody had gotten lost in the deep, dark, forbidden cave that we were interested in venturing into. In the meantime, I picked up another favor and then found the guardian Hop's grave. We'll see when we can check in. This looks like one of those statues where I get something for remembering. Aha! We did. Hop's grave. Oh, that had bioluminescent pods. That had something else that was new. Candle wax. Oh, okay. With those new crops in my pocket, I headed off, stopping at the sage-old cactus in the village square, who said that without any other guardians, such as Mandy or Plum around, no one else would be able to venture into the deep, dark cave known as Waterlog and find a missing villager called Woody. As I was a guardian, this was now going to be my task to complete. Naturally, this brought up some of my own concerns. Oh, he's sending me down into the dark depths. I guess that means we're kind of coming to a close in this area. I haven't even finished today's tasks. It's true, as much as I wanted to progress the main quest, completing daily tasks just felt like the right thing to do to help the villagers. Rushing through the day's remaining work, I ripped shells off the tops of rot, made some quick donations to the library, and then figured out that I could equip different types of dew jars. Oh, you can equip different jars. Oh, okay, so we could handle a whole bunch of different dew bottles. And we could change those. Can we hotbar it? We can. So instead of having the hammer, we could just switch out our dew bottles. Following that little bit of enlightenment, I decided to grab some glass and go ahead and upgrade the bottles before heading into the waterlog. Yep, 10 glass. Perfect. Yes, okay, so that upgraded one. Upgrades acquired, I finally completed the daily request for sandstone. There we go. That should be the day's quests. Now we can go to the basement. Truly, as the day's work was done, all that was left was to head down into the waterlog. The waterlog. Yeah, I got it. Other driftwood mines? Oh, it's gonna get spooky. Like the library dungeon before it, the waterlog was a series of puzzles, but instead of stepping on these, I had to pull on them with my fishing rod. Got it. Spooky. Pulling levers and clearing floors, I made my way down into the depths of the dungeon, having only minor hiccups along the way. I don't want the leaflet, I want to snag this guy's hat. Finally, and like the library dungeon before it, I reached a room that was unquestionably different. And there it is. Whatever this boss is, it's right there. Looks like an octopus or something. No. Okay, it is like an octopus. And so it was time to dance with the second boss, though I was instantly ready for the fight thanks to my vicious umbrella. This umbrella really cooks. Yep, there he goes. To fight this octo fiend, I had to alternate between killing the tentacles that would shoot out dangerous balls if given the time to charge up, and hitting the boss's head directly whenever it would come up from the depths. I don't know what these things are doing, but they're clearly charging up a bubble of some kind. We don't do that here. Nope, no bubbles. We have rules. While the tentacles were capable of doing damage, the umbrella made quick work of them, cutting each down rapidly and leaving me free to stab the boss for massive damage whenever he dared to show his ugly fishy face. So, thanks in large part to the umbrella, this fight went over without any real problems. Beautiful. Full hit. The end. Amazing. One try and we're done. With the fish boss defeated, I was free to enter into the room behind the boss. There, I found another upgrade to my mind, health, and stamina, much like I had found at the bottom of the library, and Woody, a fish who wore a pair of pants. What does Woody want? A greenling? Yep. I killed everybody, buddy. They're all dead. You can go home. Goodbye, fish friend. Woody's had a bad time. Sending Woody back to the surface, I collected all of the driftwood from the cave before following him back upstairs. Okay, I'm ready to leave now. Well, everything in there is dead, so don't you worry about it. I've saved everybody by killing everything. Including that guy. With my foes vanquished, all I had left to do was drop some driftwood into the library, add driftwood to my home's repair box to get the project kicked off, and then turn in for a good night's sleep. On the next day, I immediately investigated the upgrade to my house. Storage deposit. What? Okay, we just deposited the stone. What's up here? Is this a new area? Oh, this is a different area. There's a lot of stuff up here. Lots of resources. Lots of succulents, which is great. I love a succulent. Hey, we're already full. What is this? Do I know what this is? Have we seen this before? Wood deposit. There you go. Just take all the wood. There's lots up here, so have at it. I've even got more over here now. Needless to say, the new area was teeming with supplies. It also featured a location for building, but I didn't have a building box handy, so it was time to head back and start the day properly. Give me my money. I got things to do. Lots to do today. To start the day, I grabbed some resources, including sandstone and succulents, before making my way downtown, walking fast, faces past, and bound to repair fences and speak with a cactus. Okay, somewhere around here we're supposed to be repairing with sandstone. Oh, we did this the other day. Still broken, huh? We'll get some more. Don't worry about it. We gotta talk to this guy to finish out the quest. With the water log cleared, there was only one way my conversation with the cactus could go. I was told I had done enough for Summertown, and while they appreciated my help, it was time to move on and be a guardian elsewhere. Naturally, I took that news pretty well. Okay, he just wished me and Fuji a safe journey back, so I guess that means we're probably going to be leaving here soon. Which is all the more reason to finish out my quests. Racing off, I worked quickly to complete my duties, tackling tentacles. There we go. And sourcing sandstone in order to repair the fences in the village center. And here is the village center repaired. Yay! Listen to that applause. Very quiet applause. After that, the day's tasks and all of the tasks in Summertown were done, meaning it was time for me to meet with Elderberry back in Springtown. Oh, hello, Elderberry. In my chat with Elderberry, he told me about some of the goings-on around town, including visitors from Wintertown who had stopped by, and how Fuji was going to be setting up a local workshop in Springtown to help the people out. After that chat, I immediately headed to where Maraschino had been, hoping to give him his glasses lens, but alas... Nope, it's the dead of night. Nobody's here. Oh, I would love to give him his glasses. Didn't we find some of those yellow? Maybe they're not here, but I think there's a red one. Okay, so there are those little colored orbs that give health and stamina around this area. We just have to, I have to remember where they are. I don't know where they are. You spend all your time in the summer and you eventually forget the spring. It's true. As the seasons of life come and go, they take memories with them, out to sea, never to be seen again. Not lingering too long on those thoughts, I finally found Fuji, who told me that he wanted to repair the old lift in order to access Autumn Town. Oddly enough, Autumn Town is above the other ones, is what he's saying, which is weird because you would think Autumn Fall would be below. But that's okay. Fuji asked that I follow him to his workshop, but instead I swung by the library to make some donations only to find an old enemy waiting. Business hours, my greatest weakness. With the library closed, I was forced to meet with Fuji, who told me that he needed some rots cleared away before he could start making any real repairs. He's gonna skedaddle, is what he said. Well, don't you worry, buddy. Red rot is absolutely one of my specialties. That, green rot, and purple rot. So I once again slapped the area free from the rot's embrace. Then it was off to tell Fuji the good news, which was met with an offer to use his workshop in order to make the repair box I would need to get the lift working. After that, I made my way home to rest, stopping to grab a little upgrade to my stamina. This was followed by heading home and climbing into bed, where I once again was visited by the tree who told me that they were proud of me and that, in time, they would need someone like me. Kicking off the next day, it was nice to be back in Springtown, but I had some thoughts when it came to my daily duties. 3 water sprouts could coat the wood against rot. Okay, it says how to get water sprouts. I was thinking I've never heard of a water sprout. I don't know where you want me to go get this magical item that I've never seen in my life, but I guess we're just supposed to pull them from the waters. After making my thoughts on the sprouts known, I made my way to the workshop where I employed the repair box meta. I feel like we just need repair boxes. I feel like every time I see a repair station, I don't have one handy. So I'm just going to build 3, even though I only need 1 for the quest immediately, and then we'll just have the rest for later. After sharing my plan for the repair boxes, I kept moving along, grabbing a stamina upgrade, chatting with Plum about how far I had come and how I wasn't quite ready for the harder areas like the cold, misty winter town, and then stopped at Maraschino where I was finally able to give him his glasses lens. Of course, this led to a hefty reward. Says he's going to get rot out of near our house. We had rot near our house. Maybe Maraschino needed those glasses more than I had thought, because I don't remember seeing any rot near my house, but maybe I had just missed it. Either way, I carried on with my day, making another donation to the library's paperbark tree and finding where water sprouts grew in order to harvest a number of them. There we go. I then found another orb that I could smash to get an upgrade. This one was gray instead of the yellow one that usually gave me stamina. Ah, it did it. Look at that. Upgrades. Now we're stronger of mind. There you go. My perspective is wider. I don't know what mind is. I know what health and stamina do, but mind is a mysterious stat. Maybe there's an in-game guide for this, but I did look it up after my playthrough and I could not figure out what mind does. Instead, I placed the repair box that would fix the lift to Autumn Town, though it needed stones I didn't have at the time in order to work, so I carried on, dropping another repair box at a nearby villager's damaged house. This one required shells that I also didn't have in order to work, so I changed my focus, finally getting around to depositing the plants needed to complete my daily duties. That's done. I then grabbed the rocks needed to get the lift's repair underway and headed back, stopping only briefly to drop another repair box. Oh my gosh, you want one too? I just built these, dude, like 5 seconds ago. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Rot wax. Okay, so we've got to go kill those guys. More slimy boys. as well as fishing. Fishing to get shells for one box and rot wax for another, the villagers sure did keep me busy. So I headed off to the beach in the dead of night to see if I could fish up some shells, to this result. Oh no, I died! I was not paying attention to my health whatsoever. As usual, I got my dailies done before dying, so the village got better even though my body was broken. Alright, we got all of our tasks done though, so go ahead, give me those stats. Waking up and rolling out as grapes often do, I kicked things off by donating to the library and then followed that by moving a package from the docks in Springtown all the way down into Summertown. There you go. Holy cow, that's a lot of walking. While in the summer area, I grabbed the last shell I needed for one of the repair boxes I had put down in Springtown. Beautiful. Okay, I'm leaving. Summer's over. Springtime. This was followed by some self-reflection as I walked. I feel like the townsfolk must think I'm crazy. I just take off running. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I'm just sprinting in every different direction trying to get stuff done. Truly, I was a grape with an unstoppable grind set. Reflecting that, I gave the villager the shells he needed to fix his house, but realized that I was heading to Autumntown imminently, so I would likely never see his home completed. Good luck with your house. I'm never gonna look at it. Having blessed that villager with my efforts, I swept through a family of glomps, deconstructing the father as my daily duties required, and then departing Springtown via the Autumntown lift. Okay, 3, 2, 1, Autumntown. And so, after a dramatic climb, I arrived in Autumntown. This is the town of Autumn. There's Rappa. Buddy, you've got bigger problems than me. Look, there's a monster immediately to your right. Look west, friend. Look west. Rappa told me that the path to the village was crawling with rots, so I navigated around them in order to reach Autumntown proper, where I chatted with the villagers, one of whom needed a tool fixed, one who told me that the town was in a large drought and needed water restored, and one who told me that the trade routes to the nearby village needed to be restored as supplies were running low. With my work in Autumntown cut out for me, I had a quick chat with Rappa, who told me that thanks to the drought, I could stay at the now abandoned greenhouse, so I made my way there, where I rested for the night. Bedtime. While sleeping, I dreamt about how much I loved Springtown and how well it must be doing. Springtown is my baby. Starting the next day, I quickly learned that I was unable to leave Autumntown via the lift and would need to clear the trade routes instead, so off to work I went, cracking open the evil acorns and fixing the fences that the villagers had asked me to do via the duty board. After that, I turned in some pith roots to complete a villager favor, and in exchange was given another favor wherein I was to deliver a broken tool to be repaired. Next, I spoke with the shop owner who gave me a key that I could use to access different places around the city. After all of that was done, I headed off to find whoever could repair the tool I was given, but was stopped by a gate. I wonder if this is what the key opens. It doesn't show it, so maybe. Hard to say. This next bit was a bit frustrating to watch back, as I went up to various locked gates in the area with a key in my pocket and pushed the interact button, and when nothing happened, I would walk away. I kept at this for so long, I became extremely confused as to what on heaven and earth could possibly be needed to progress. It looks like the guy for the sewers down over there, right? Oh, you just hit the door. Okay, sure. Yeah, why not? So, to my credit, I had hit the door in the sewer, but that door operated on a different lock, had a different key, and threw me off of opening the door outside that led to the village. But let's move on, as my first conversation past the village gate saw me getting my tool fixed. This new tool was a sickle, and it would allow me to harvest faster with rapid slashes, but before any gathering, I whipped up a nearby repair box location and then gathered some quick resources before adding to my stamina yet again. Then I circled back to fill the repair box with those resources so it would be completed on the next day. I then finished up my remaining duties for the day before heading to bed, and it's worth noting that the guy who repaired my sickle specifically told me not to worry about returning the sickle to the villager who had asked for it in the first place, so finders keepers, as the British say. On the following day, I immediately headed to the newly repaired path, where I completed a daily task for pulverizing my puddle pals, which is to say smacking the slime, which means to mash the muck. When I arrived in the village, I stopped in the library, where I was told that the sewer was completely backed up, meaning the water was no longer flowing, and the demand was made of me, a humble grape, that I venture in and open everything back up. He demands I go to the sewers and clean up the mess. I would love to. Give me a more, elaborate key, and I will get to work. But I will also stop here and pick up 2 stone of this special stone, because that should let me get a better sickle. Alright, carry on with your work. Key in hand, I beelined for the sewers, completely failing to remember how being low on dew cost me my first attempt at the bookworm fight. And now time to get suey. Unlock the sewers. Yeah, I did. That's why I got the key. And so, like the dungeons before it, this dungeon was made up of a series of puzzle rooms. Specifically, these ones involved moving large boxes around and placing them on powered tiles. Most of the dungeon rooms were pretty straightforward, but this room, for some reason, took me over 5 minutes to complete. That took a lot of work. I have a degree, by the way. I've been to school. Clearing puzzle after puzzle and room after room, I was running low on health when I finally arrived in a room I described as weird. Weirdly simple puzzle? You may have figured that because I also described the room the bookworm lived in as weird, I may realize what was coming next. Unfortunately, the only school I had been to was kindergarten. Nope. It was Rotberg. Me with one. Rotberg would deal damage all around him in a circle, and then lift himself up out of harm's way, fill the room with little rot boys, and then come back down, deal damage in the circle again, and then repeat that process over and over for the duration of the fight. Unfortunately, the rot was prone to drop a bit unpredictably. Oh, I died! I didn't even get my day's work done. That's the first time I've died without a day's work being done. Yeah, so unfortunately, even though I was ill-prepared to go into the sewers, I really didn't take that death so well. They lost a lot of water overnight, and the request was unfulfilled. What a loser. What a sad grape I am. A sad grape who was forced to face the repercussions of a failed day's work. So what happens when you fail? Yeah, don't get paid much. That's for darn tootin'. So I was both a sad and poor grape, but one with lots to do nevertheless, so I wasted no time hustling to complete tasks before scurrying back into the sewer to have my revenge on Rotberg. Alright, pray for me. I'm gonna see what I can do down here. What I could do was hustle through all of the puzzles as quickly as possible in order to waste no time in raining down vengeance on Rotberg. Oh yeah. This time I discovered that not only did Rotberg have his regular moveset, he would hide on the ceiling where he would remain invulnerable until boxes in the room were slid to certain positions. Once the boxes were in position, I was again able to damage the boss while continuing to avoid his regular attacks. Understanding the fight like this, I was able to balance the waves of rot blobs and dealing damage until... Let's go for the punish. Is Rotberg dead or is he transitioning phases? I feel like we were just changing phases. Oh wait, he's dead. Okay, good. Ooh, that was tricky. I thought he was gonna come back for something more. And so Rotberg went the way of the dodo, or the doo-doo, as he was a gross guy. Either way, I headed into the final room of the dungeon where I grabbed the boost to stamina, HP, and mind. Then I sat on this bench for a while because someone built it down here and I didn't want their hard work to be in vain. Then headed back to the village library to share the good news of my victory and the now clean sewers. We've restored the water. The sewer waters are back and flowing. That makes a watershed moment for the community, eh? Yeah, I guess. Go talk to Kombucha? With the sewers cleaned, I was sent to talk to Kombucha, who decided that what I really needed was a spade. So they handed me a spade, no permits, and no further questions. Thank you. Immediately upon stepping outside, Lychee stopped me to tell me that since the sewer was clear, the drought had ended, meaning the soil of Autumn Town was now healthy enough to plant stuff in. So I immediately began planting. Garden plot is too dry. Wait, what? Oh, start by using some dew. Okay. Well, they have dew now. It's true. One of the problems caused by the sewer being clogged up was that Autumn Town just didn't have any dew. Now they did, so I was able to use that dew in order to plant plants. Now it's soft. Now we dig. Now we have a hole. The situation was developing very quickly, but thankfully, somehow, I was able to keep my wits about me long enough to receive a seed pouch. I then used this pouch to plant seeds in the hole. Okay, so stuff will grow and then we just punch it and it'll just be good. Next, I discovered that seed packs just refilled whatever seeds I was currently carrying. So after a quick refill, I was off, taking my expert level farming skills on tour, planting something at every plot that I could find. After planting, I headed home. Thinking my day's work was done, I found this instead. Yeah, that's all done. We've got the water flowing. Just overall, very good. Very good. Oh, we have spots in here that we could dig. Would you look at that? Today's just getting better. Do we have to... Do you think we'll have to re-water them after? Like next plant, we have to re-water them? So I planted something in each plot of my house and got cozy in bed, only to realize that if I whacked enemies with a shovel, I would unlock a memory. So I ran outside, gave my best impression of Martin Short in the Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause, and then returned to bed for the night. While I slept, the tree returned to me in a dream, telling me that it knew my name and that it would not be reaching out again, and I should speak with Plum instead, which is fine. Having a tree interrupt my dreams was not my favorite way to sleep. The next morning, I eagerly hopped out of bed and raced over to harvest my plants, only to realize
that.
Oh, it says when it's growing. Oh, okay.
It's true, the plants said when they were still growing, and I had whacked that one when it had nearly nothing to harvest. It's also worth noting that different plants grew differently depending on which town I was in, so I still had lots to learn about horticulture. As you can see, none of that stopped me from starting my daily duties, making donations to the library, or carrying on with the day in general as I waited for the crops to grow.
Okay, that should cut this down for tomorrow, meaning we can go further down.
Going down, meaning connecting Autumn Town to the other villages, as well as gathering resources, is pretty much all I had left to do at this point.
I thought I had seen another log. We need one more log to be able to do the 5 branch, the 5 root thing. 5 pith. I'm getting pithed.
Yeah, puns aside, running around to farm up pretty specific resources was starting to get to me, especially when I made silly mistakes along the way.
Did I just sell a pith root? Oh no, I sold a pith root. No, now I gotta find another one. Help me.
Thankfully, I was able to navigate my own stupidity long enough to buy an upgrade for my spade, refresh my inventory of repair boxes, and get a good night's rest as I waited for the repair box I had placed that day to clear a path for me. On the next morning, I kept going with my daily duties, as getting Autumn Town to level 2 foraging was necessary for the main quest to progress. However, with the main path fixed, I could now freely walk down to Springtown, meaning that I was able to chat with Elderberry, which for some reason removed Autumn Town's foraging quest from my to-do list and instead replaced it with chatting with more people from around Springtown. These conversations were wildly more helpful than anything else that had happened, as they finally unlocked a fast travel system around the map.
So we can take these and spin around in style. Hey, we can warp. Okay.
With the ability to warp unlocked, I was soon zipping all over the map, chatting with people from different towns and completing my objectives wicked fast until I was told to stop.
Okay, now the goal is wait until tomorrow. I just get as much done in a day as I can, and then I get told, knock it off, you gotta wait till tomorrow. And then I chill, and I wait.
And so I chilled and waited. Stopping in a nearby shop, I grabbed new seeds to plant as well as a log and a stone that would get donated to the Autumn Library. Then I warped back to Autumn Town and settled in to watch the town go from level 1 to 2 foraging. With the level up completed, the next day saw me finally getting to harvest the crops in my house.
It's only 2? I don't know about that.
After that, I was off to unlocking a memory by hitting bales of hay, my obligatory labor for the day, and plucking all of the plants that I had planted on days prior. I then queued up some overnight repairs before making my way to the library where something incredible happened.
There you go. Your library is complete, which means I get glasses. Very fancy.
It's true, even though I never wore those glasses, I was undeniably fancier now that I had them, which is good, because my next daily duty made me return to the sewers and revisit Rotberg, who thought I just looked absolutely dashing with my new glasses. With Rotberg put back to bed, I met Elderberry in the kindergarten, where he told me that it was time for me to venture to Wintertown, where the last 2 guardians, Plum and Mandy, had gone missing in the town's thick mist. Naturally, I immediately headed for the gate to Wintertown, where I was warned that once I went in, I would be unable to return for some time. This was what I had expected, so off I went.
I'm ready. Let me in that glade, baby.
Once I arrived in Wintertown, I was told that Plum had gone deep into the mist that morning and should be back by now, but wasn't. So off I went deep into the mist to find and return Plum. Honestly, these misty areas were very confusing. The map didn't work, and I often found myself walking in circles or being spit back out into the village, unsure if I had done something wrong or just that's how the gameplay was supposed to go here. Regardless of how confused I was getting, I continued to head back in, eventually making this discovery.
Fatwood. I found Fatwood. Go ahead and call your mother. Tell her I found her in the game.
Apologies to your mom. I'm sure she's a sweet lady. On the other hand, my mama didn't raise a quitter in her litter, so I kept at it until I finally found my frozen fruit friend.
This looks different. Hey! Oh. Plum.
Plum needed help, and fast. Thankfully, all of the days I had spent hauling boxes around meant I could simply heave Plum up over my head and carry them back down to the village to rest. After Plum was nestled into bed, I was stopped by a villager who told me that they had prepared a house for me nearby, so I headed that way to turn in for the night, as the next day would surely kick off my work in Wintertown. Starting my first day in Wintertown, I quickly discovered that the villagers wanted repairs done with materials I had not yet seen. This meant I instead focused on what I could do, accept more favors that I'd never ever do, and chip away at the main quest line, which resulted in Plum asking me to navigate the mist and giving me a handy pair of skates to do so. With my new skates, I headed back into the mist, as the main quest wanted me to clear a number of rot from the area. While there, I snagged an upgrade to my health before butchering my way to the task's completion. After thinning the rot's population and making my way out of the mist, I returned to the village and spoke with the librarian, Ladidi, who gave me a scrying stone that I could use to navigate the mist properly. After shoving that scrying stone into my pocket, I made some donations to the tree.
As always, we have to stop at our tree and deposit sticks and stones
Before heading back into the mist without sleeping in order to find Mandy, the missing guardian. This time, because I possessed the scrying stone, small stones throughout the mist directed my path forward.
It says east.
This meant that all I had to do was find the stones, read them, and then proceed accordingly until eventually this happened.
North. We've got to go north. Oh, something's weird up there. Let's check this out. Is this Mandy? Oh, it's a mandrake root. Ah, it's interesting.
This was Mandy, or what was left of her, as Mandy's body weighted slightly north, and this was Mandy's spirit. Heading north, I found Mandy's body, now one with the land and surrounded by the souls of other fallen guardians. One by one, I went about speaking with the guardian souls, and one by one they disappeared until only Mandy was left. She told me to take a branch from her body, as it was now one with the grove it sat in.
We plucked the silver sword, a branch from Mandy's broken body.
Using the silver sword, I cut through a web of rot, clearing the path forward. Heading north, I skated along.
Whee!
Eventually, I ended up in a clearing where Mandy was waiting. She explained that in the original haste to close away the rot, technology was used to lock away the tree and the rot that was on it. However, since the rot continued to get out, the only way forward was to go back to Plum and show him the branch I had picked up from Mandy, as Plum would know what to do with it. So I skated back to the village where Plum was waiting, found Plum,
Check out the sword.
and chatted with Plum, who told me that he would meet with Ladidi and the three of us could chat at the library. So then I went racing off to the library. Once there, Plum and Ladidi explained that the tree's heart, albeit weak, was still in the grove, being pursued by rot. Although the rot was starting to seep into the heart's chamber, ancient giants held the keys to the chamber, making it difficult for the rot to get in. These giants, corrupted by rot, were the bosses I had fought throughout the game, so I would have to return to each, get their respective keys, and then head into the chamber housing the tree's heart to clear the rot. So I made a quick donation to the library before heading off. As one last stop before heading off to hunt down the bosses again, I swung into the mist to grab Tombstone, the rock I needed to complete my daily duties, only to finally realize this important bit of gameplay.
Oh, it shows I'm a goof. Look, if you go to the thing here and you hit the tombstone, it shows a stomp icon, and each weapon has its own little icon. So all I need is the one that's the hammer here, that's stomp, and it takes the stomp damage, and we have our tombstone. What a goose. What an absolute chicken head. What a derpy boy I've become.
After waxing poetic about how much of a dimwit I had been, I went about collecting enough tombstone to complete my daily work, but instead was relieved of my duties.
That's a lot of money. Very sad.
With every single one of my duties being left undone, I spent the next day racing around Wintertown to complete duties and favors as quickly as possible.
Wait, how many eggshells do you want? Because I just picked up a nice handful. 3, huh? I just picked up 4, so they're all yours, buddy. It's really a bad place for frogs. I think frogs, when they get cold, they kind of shut down. No, but he gave me the roll boots. We can roll while using a tool? Oh, that is going to make combat so much smoother.
Taking those roll boots, which increase the Souls-like rating of this game by a solid 15%, I turned in some fat wood as only I could do, rebuilt a chimney, and stabbed a rot boy in the eyeball to complete my daily tasks. With all of my duties squared away, I was soon leaving Wintertown, returning to Springtown, and beelining for my first boss, Big Worm. Like my first time in the library's depths, I had to complete puzzles to progress through the floors, but that was no problem for a grape like me on a mission.
This one. This one. There we go. Hey, who's the master of the lights on the floor? It's the tiny grape.
Although this new arena was darker and spookier, the fundamentals of the bookworm fight were the same. Unfortunately for the bookworm, my fundamentals were different, as I now had more health and stamina and employed better weapons and jars, meaning the worm was soon sent back to live in the soil.
Can they reach me if I'm right here? Maybe. Can't now, though. Can they? Nope. Pack it up, boys. It's over. It's over. Your boss is dead. Everybody's exploding.
After everyone exploded, I collected the star from the worm, returned to the surface where I stopped briefly in the library to complete the Springtown collection, and then immediately returned to Autumntown to check in on Rotberg. It may seem foolish to do all of the bosses without sleeping, as the game saved when sleeping, but determination was running high.
We're doing the whole thing today. Boss rush is getting completed today.
Working through puzzles that were similar but different from Rotberg's previous offerings, I found my nasty purple pal waiting for me just like I knew he would be. There was a slight variation here from the bookworm, in that Rotberg did seem to have a new attack, a giant circle he would throw out, damaging everything inside, including the minions he had summoned. This meant that this version of Mr. Berg was a bit easier than my first go-around.
Come on, Rotberg. There you go, buddy. I know you didn't want to live forever.
And really, who would want to live forever? Certainly not someone who was ready to give up a dew-star like Rotberg was. Returning to the surface, the next thing on the menu was octopus, so I teleported down to Summertown and readied some sushi rice for my victory. While in-game Mattaghetti works on puzzles, it's worth noting that by this point, I had gone about ensuring that all of my dew bottles were topped off before heading into the dungeon where I would fight old Octo.
Alright, it's our boy, Mr. Tactical.
Unlike my first go-around with this boss, the buffed-up version started the fight with all of his tentacles at the ready, meaning I was left scrambling to try and put them down while throwing in occasional stabs to the boss's head. As the fight went on, the bright side was that the tentacles' location meant the bubbles they were floating were easy to direct towards the boss, and when any of these hit the boss's head, it would cause them to surface and take massive damage. Although the fight was going well enough, leave it to me to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory by fumbling around as I try and equip different jars.
Oh, wrong button, wrong button, wrong button. I don't deserve to die for that. I don't deserve to die for a misinput. I don't think I do anyway. No, 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 no. Oh, no! It was a misinput. I just was trying to switch stuff. There's too many buttons.
Dead again, my fury for the octopus was set alight.
Get out of here. Yeah, I do good work. Get out of here. Concord is not a happy grape. Concord is on a path of vengeance and violence.
So I did the day's work, complaining only as much as necessary.
Does nobody else know how to do menial labor?
But getting it done nevertheless, freeing my schedule for an all-I-could-eat octopus sushi buffet. Heading back in, I took some time rearranging my hotbar so I would have 2 dew bottles ready to use, then went about storming the octopus's lair.
Alright, once again, it's go time.
And go I did. Taking my time and focusing a bit more on tentacle control, I went about slashing and smashing that fish boy with rapid slashes and stabs until it could take no more.
Yeah, that's the move right there. Sorry, buddy. Figured it out. Sad to say.
Having put the octo to bed with the fishes, I decided a bit of gloating was in order.
Didn't even heal once. 0 healing whatsoever. Well, that's over.
Racing back to the grove, I quickly arrived and placed my 3 keys into their respective places outside of the door.
Ah, that's what those were the whole time. They were just keys. They were just keyholes.
With the door now open, there was nothing left to do but head inside and face whatever twisted combination of tree and rot lay ahead.
The silver sword calls to the grove. That's ominous. It just keeps giving me notifications. The silver sword calls to the grove. You know what? Here you go, grove. Here's the silver sword. Oh. The grove didn't like that. Oh, the grove is awake.
Yes, the grove was awake, and it was ready to fight. And I must say this fight is a strange one that took me some time to figure out. In short, the grove continues to throw out large root attacks. These must be dodged while trying to fish rot from the ground. Once the rot is fished up, the rot must make its way to the grove without me or the tree killing it with its root attacks. If the rot arrives at the tree then changes into an evil corrupted version that I could damage. Until the rot reaches the tree or grove, the grove remains invulnerable from any attacks. Here's what it looked like when I first figured all of that out.
Oh no. Oh, it touched the grove. The slime touched the grove. Now the grove is very evil or something. So you have to summon them up to then touch the grove. Oh, the grove is good.
Perhaps that strategy was written down somewhere or mentioned in dialogue that I had missed. Either way, having worked all of that out, the fight itself was carrying on fine, albeit slow, until I discovered that I didn't need to use my silver sword and could instead rely on my trusty high damage umbrella.
Hurry, little rot. Infect the tree, little rot. There you go. Oh, look at this umbrella cook. Holy cow, that was the move right there. Using a sword like an idiot. No, an umbrella is the weapon of choice. Are we still fighting? Is this still combat? The Grove's not looking so hot right now.
There you have it. Evidence that after every single boss fight in Garden's story, I expected another phase rather than the fight to end. This fight, however, had ended, as the tree coughed up a giant crystal and then sent me flying off into a dreamlike space.
The world is added to my map. Oh my goodness. The world is added to my map. I can't even open my map. I'm here in the ethereal plane. I'm an ethereal grape.
As an ethereal grape, I spoke with the Grove, who told me that the crystal had promised it eternal life, causing it to defend the crystal to the death. Now, free of the crystal, the Grove could finally sleep, which I found relatable, as I too love sleep. Having said all of that, the tree gave in to the rot and was quieted, only asking that I go back to my friends who were missing me.
I'm back in the kindergarten. Oh, it's me as a ghost, waking me up.
So I awoke in my bed in the kindergarten where everything had started. Obviously, by this point, I had become something of a legend, so Raina, the frog who wouldn't stop chatting at the start, was there waiting for me to wake up. Raina told me that there were a number of people waiting to see me, so I made the rounds, showing everyone how hard it was to kill a grape. Naturally, this concluded by finding and chatting with Plum. In our heartwarming chat, Plum told me that they had pulled my body from the grove after my fight with the tree, though my mind seemed far away. Plum also said that they were feeling better, somewhat inspired by the friends I made on my journey who were taking up the mantle of being the new generation of heroes. Then, they ended our chat by giving me a special dew to use again on the kindergarten vine. Of course, I wasted no time in using that dew.
Finish where it all began.
And that was Garden Story. If you watched this far, thank you. I'm having a lot of fun making these videos, and it means the world to me that you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel, like and share the video wherever you share things. Seeing more people enjoy these videos has been absolutely amazing and means the world to me. Until next time, stay classy.